Oh man, I
That's
can't.
what I remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. But I'm really glad that we'll have Icon back in season 9 because he told me, you know what, I'm done. Season 8, I'm not playing. I'm not gonna be playing anymore. Blah blah. Liar.
He's back,
He's
season
back.
9.
He's back. Well, one can never truly retire, huh?
One can never truly retire. You either live long enough to see yourself become a wait. How's it go again?
You live long enough to be the
Hero.
hero. No, no.
Wait.
Wait.
You either be the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
what it
I
is.
I totally was not
But hey,
about
the
to
villains,
Google
the
it.
villains are in the playoffs right now.
Exactly.
Evil has gotten through the previous game,
Mhm.
but right
Mhm.
now we have to focus on the draft. This is Ignite having the first pick, first ban, banning out the Matilda and the Lucas. We've seen quite a bit of this, quite a bit of teams actually respecting the Lucas, respecting the Matildas, and Chip on the other side, Absolute Zero will take that out alongside Phobius, which is an homage to how Utah plays the Phobius. Kimmy will also
Mm.
be taken out by Ignite. Last ban, we've seen a lot of Moskovs or the Harris being banned out by the side of Absolute Zero, or even the Loi, which has been played to true perfection by Sayla from Evil. So I'm not sure if Absolute Zero wants to ban that out.
I would say that at this point in time, there's nothing that is too out of the ordinary per se. We still have got some of the, like for example, Juicin is currently still available. I know that Lucas as well as Kimmy has always been the annoying people that is just plaguing the entirety of MPL SG. Every now and then, of course, the Harif kind of gets leaked through, but Absolute Zero doesn't seem like they want to deal with that at all. Which pretty much means that when it comes down to first pick material, we do have Kalia for the Vendetta.
Yeah, we have a lot of boxes yesterday. So
Baxia.
boxes in the Rome, boxes in EXP. Not sure if Absolute Zero wants to pick that up because that is one of the priority heroes, especially for the MPL teams. You give early game high rotational speed with the rolls, but of course the Granger will be picked up first. That's a very easy winning lane, especially for the side of Salas. Badang will be picked up as well, so a lot of crowd control, a lot of setups, especially from AZ right from the get-go. Will Ignite actually pick up the box here for themselves, though, because it has been very strongly contested in the MPL seeded teams yesterday.
Hmm.
But it's a little bit different for the community teams because they're testing things out, trying new things. Not sure if they understand how each other plays, but Paquito actually comes through.
What?
It's been a while
What?
since we saw the boxer in action.
I don't expect to see the Paquito here at all, but there is, of course, going to be a very high chance that the Paquito is going to be played in the jungle role.
Really?
Yes, because this is Icon after all. Icon does play some very interesting jungle heroes. So especially since I'm looking at Kalea as well as a Paquito, definitely we can assume that the Kalea goes over to the roam and then the Paquito goes over to goes over to the EXP. That can still be very much possible. However, the more possible situation is that they play to their best and they play to their finest, putting Vendetta on over to the Kalia. That means that Paquito gotta have to go over to the jungle.
I got a very interesting and serious question for you.
Okay.
This is a BO1.
This is a BO1
Do
indeed.
you want to test out a Paquito, which is kind of off meta at this point, very easy to read because once you don't have
Mm-hmm.
your triple combos, you're pretty much done for. You're a wide open book. People can read you. People will initiate and pull the trigger on you.
Yeah, I do think that it is a very big risk coming in from Ignite, but
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, I guess.
I suppose so. I would say that they are probably really confident with what they intend to do here. I mean, Paquito does have some very crazy bursts, not gonna lie.
Mm.
So if they are kind of looking out for, possible hero picks, they want to really just eliminate one person at just a snap. As compared to heroes such as the Hayabusa, very high skill hero, there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of things that you can do, but the burst aspect is not exactly there. And the caveat is that you can't have everyone just
Right.
around, right? You are targeting just one person. While Paquito doesn't care about all of that. It makes things a lot more streamlined. It is a lot simpler to execute. And I think that that might potentially be the thing that what Ignite might want to go for. They want
Mm.
simplicity, they want icon, and they want symbolistic symbols.
Oh, nice try.
Damn
Nice
it.
try. I'm not buying it. But
Damn it.
hey,
Okay.
you make a lot of sense because the Paquito could be used for that side lane pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Very fast wave clear, very fast rotational speed,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the double left jabs into the combos to have cross map plays. So I guess it kind of works in that sense. But in team fights, I'm not too sure. Once you go in all gung ho, I think it kind of opens you up for a lot of pressures, a lot of weakness onto yourself. So going into the bans, it will be the Baksha and the Wan Wan being banned out. The Sky Tiger and the Raging Turtle will be banned out for the side of Absolute Zero. They will pick up Loi E for themselves. But
Okay.
Ignite, on the other hand, will ban out the mid lane, targeting onto Buji though. The
Mm.
Juicin as well as the Sicilian will be banned out. I do like the Loi pick instead of the Yve, but they are trying something new. The Guinevere will come out as well, so the Paquito
Wow.
will go into the EXP side. Guinevere definitely going into the jungle, much faster wave clear in the jungle and much faster rotations. You have a lot of crowd controls. You have a lot of knockups as well coming in from Paquito as well as Kalea. So I'm seeing the interactions and the combos that are coming through from Ignite, and I think it looks kind of spicy. It looks new and it looks interesting. Now I'm excited to see how this plays out. Carry will solidify that last pick. A lot of high pressure. I think that would be. I was gonna say high loss, but the Tigro actually works as well.
Guinevere might
Combos
be
very well with the
Rome.
Loi.
Oh, Guinevere might be Rome actually.
Guinevere Rome.
Guinevere might actually be Rome.
Paquito.
Paquito still in the jungle. I would like to
I think
believe.
Guinevere in the jungle would work much better, much faster jungle clearing speed compared to Paquito because in level 1 to level 4,
Mm-hmm.
you only have like, you're at the mercy of like 2 combo skills.
My problem when it comes down to, kind of deciding between the Guinevere and the Paquito is that if we are looking for simplicity and we want to go for something like guaranteed, you throw and it sticks kind of thing, it is the Paquito. You're not your abilities and your power as a jungler does not be locked behind knockups and crowd control. While
Mm.
Guinevere, you gotta get a knockup in
You
order
gotta
for your
get knocked
Violet
up.
Requiem to eventually land,
Seconds till the
right?
Yeah.
enemy reaches the
Well,
battlefield.
we'll see
We'll
how
see.
this plays
We'll
out
see.
because we are actually jumping into the land of dawn. No time wasted at all. Ignite versus Absolute Zero in a BO1. It does look like the Guinevere.
Guinevere jungle.
What I tell you, Abstract.
Damn. Okay. Wait, Yuda. Wait, Jet. Oh, wait. Sorry. For a second, I thought that there's Vendetta.
So
Ignite.
Vendetta will be in
Vendetta
Absolute
is
Zero.
on the
Yes.
Absolute Zero side. That will make a lot more sense. Because if the Kalia is on Absolute Zero side, then the Kalia would be EXP. But okay, now it will make a lot more sense. Isn't Jet supposedly a mid player? Okay, now he has became a roam player. Blade is the one is in the mid lane, so I think that this is relatively fun to see. Of course, Yuda in the EXP lane that's going up against the Badang. Badang is definitely going to have a way better time in the top lane. So EXP wise, I think that this is definitely not exactly so much of a skill-based matchup. There's a lot more of lane rotations going on from the Badang that will excel in a lot more. But of course, we do have got quite a bit of movement that Paquito does have in his kit.
I think it boils down to how you disrupt the Paquito and try to deny him from that level 4 power spike, especially so when you have a Tigro and you have the Badang coming through as well. It creates a lot of pressure and creates a lot of obstacles for the Paquito to play. So in order to find that flank, in order to find a sort of like a backline approach and an angle to get through to that backline, and to be honest though, I don't think Absolute Zero has a lot of backline. The only thing that I could think of is maybe the Granger, maybe the Loi, but they're going to be using a lot of diversion plays, especially post level 4, into the enemy's base or into the enemy's jungles, into enemy backlines, and it creates a lot of pressure for Yuda to try to check the bush. And I don't think you want to use a Paquito for intel, for reconnaissance.
Indeed, yeah, I wouldn't want that as well. Yes, his jab does give him shields, but that doesn't necessarily allow him to do any of the fancy schmancy open up the map kind of thing. Especially since Paquito now should generally play as more of a bursty role
Yeah.
rather than being the semi-tank in this space. So it's very understandable that the Kalia will be the one that open up the maps, will be the one that's yoinking people out of the opponent's heart. So this is kind of like a pick-off thing,
Yeah.
right? You have the Kalia to go off for a pick-off. If the Paquito is somewhere around the vicinity, whoever is picked off great, that's the burst damage. And the Guinevere would then shortly come after. Hopefully, we'll be able to catch at least 2 person, because I don't think that you would want to go for the magical thump onto that 1 person that has already been pulled in by what was that again? The
Tigro?
tsunami slam.
Ah, okay. I guess the tsunami slam is more or less to disrupt the implosion from the Tigro.
Hmm.
But then I guess you could play it in multiple ways because I mean if you wanna target onto the Badang and punish him for getting a little bit too close with the fist crack, he does have CC immunity, so you have to watch your 6 on that one as
Yeah.
well. Usually how Kalea players play this hero is usually to deny the setups from
Yes.
the opponent team.
Mm.
So we don't really see Kalea actually jumping into the back line and try to take out the Granger or take out the
Mm.
Luoyi first. What they usually do is wait for the tanks to actually come close and punish them for getting too close and pulling them even further back together into the vicinity of the enemy base.
Indeed.
So I guess the Kalea could be used to that advantage.
Mhm.
I'm still a little bit wary about how Paquito plays around, but this is
Mhm.
Yuta anyways. We've
Mhm.
always seen him very comfortable with the Paquitos, especially back in season 6 all the way through season 8. I don't think that I think it's one of his pocket picks. I don't think that it should be uh, uh, um, uh, disastrous in any way,
I don't think it would be.
as long as he's able to out rotate the Badang.
I would like to think that, of course, to add on to the Kalia part, I think that is a very good way to punish people.
Yes.
As such, generally you'd want to kind of throw whatever sticks. Whoever that's
Mm.
too far in front, okay, we can bring them close to us. Whatever that you find the opportunity to, like if you're as though like playing a Kaja or you're playing like a Cho, literally just take someone. Just literally take someone. You have a Fasa, you have a Paquito, you have a Guinevere. I don't know whether you want to throw everything onto this one guy, for instance, but they definitely do have what it takes, and of course they do have the capabilities to just melt that 1 person down.
Yeah.
How much do they want to use? That is generally going to be the question.
Yeah. I guess quite a lot of combos, quite a lot of interactions and layering of skills
Hmm.
for Ignite's synergy, especially with the Guinevere. You start off with a spatial migration or Violet Requiem into the face, and then coming in with a Paquito, or you start with a Paquito, get a Sky Uppercut knock up, and then jump in with spatial migration. Meanwhile, Bougie taking a little bit too much damage, forced to get a retreat with 20 seconds left until the first turtle spawns up. What is the play for Absolute Zero? It does look like Ignite Gaming has a faster rotational speed in the early game compared to Absolute Zero.
Now, of course, I do want to talk about sustainability. Because, yes, we do have a Kalia onto Ignite Gaming side, but I can't help but think that there is a lack of front lines, right? We talked about the concept about opening up the maps. Generally, leave it to Kalia. When it comes down to stealing people out of the opponent's main, death ball,
Yep.
that's Kalia's job as well. When it comes down to scouting out the Lord's pit and of course pulling the Lord out and kind of hold the Lord, that's Kalia's job as well. Now that is a lot of roles that
It's
the
a tall
Kalia.
order.
Yeah, so there isn't exactly a lot of destination about what they're gonna have to do in very specific situations. Sure, I think the Paquito can kind of hold the Lord for a little bit because he does have some shields.
You have the sustain coming in from the passive as well.
Yes.
That I love about
Okay.
Kalea.
So at least Kalia can sustain. She can tank, but it is still a lot of things that we are expecting from the Kalia. Because
Mm.
right now, all we have for Kalia is you do everything else. And then Paquito, Fasa, Guinevere, just kill the backline. It's a very simple concept, but I think that they don't have enough splitting of the job scopes well enough.
Fair, fair. You know, jumping into the first third of the game really soon, I can't help to wonder how the gold lane interaction will be, especially in the late game. You have to carry as well. If you have a lot of heroes that are jumping in, the only one that could potentially protect you is the Parsa. So what do you think the interaction is going to be?
Well, I honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. But for now, let's take a look at the other fight.
Turtle in the third. Vendetta taking a lot of damage. The fist crack with the flicker. Non secures the turtle with the retribution. Vendetta goes down. An absolute zero. And Ignite Gaming trading blows an objective for a hero kill. But thankfully, this is just a EXP Vendetta that Ignite Gaming has taken away. So not too much loss. Rapidude with literally a sliver, a silver of health.
A silver of health. Who said that?
I don't know. But man, that was a huge dodge from them. The nice little kill down the bottom side as well. Oh no, it's just escape from there.
Okay, so at this point in time, it is just a little bit of I will say that it's a little bit of a trade between the two teams. I don't think that it went to anyone's hands at this point in time. It's still too early to say.
His implosion into the fray. We got a shadow kill, picking that up as well. Rapid taking a lot of damage, knocked up, stunned up. That is the spatial migration combination on the bottom side as well. A split fight is happening on the top side. Vendetta almost taking up Yuta with the fist crack and building that wall to prevent his escape. It's just mayhem across the battlefield.
I do really like that diversion coming in from Bougie. Understanding that, you know what, Tigreal is kind of dead meat. Let's just teleport down to the bottom lane and just deal with the gold lane. After all, it is the gold lane after all. If you're able to get a kill down on the carry, you do have got a massive lead going on top.
Oh, nice stop onto Nando. Almost getting a shadow kill onto Blade. Good read by Icon.
Oh, Blade with such a low amount of HP.
Punished by Nan, taken down, and just stopped in his track by his Rapid dude.
Oh man, that was a small little mistake that might eventually just propel into something completely new. As we do have a total that will be coming up in about 10 seconds, that will mean that he does have got a few levels behind of Bougie. Yet another diversion down the bottom.
Nice little backdoor play with the implosion. Chu will go down by the hands of Salus. On the top side as well, Vendetta trying to buy enough time, but nice read, good read into the Tsunami Slam, they go. Vendetta barely surviving, Jet will take that down with a killing spree to himself. The turtle will be free for the taking for Ignite.
Wow. The Roma becomes the hunter. So, who's the Roma again? Tell me about it.
It's Jet, yeah, but he has a lot of experience down the mid-side, so the rotation speed and how he likes to play the map, the positioning that he has is definitely on point.
Yep. So, Absolute Zero, you can very clearly tell that the main thing that they're going to look out for is that they want to smash the gold lane, which they definitely did manage to do, right? They managed to get about death onto the side of Chu, and then they even managed to bring down the T1 turret down to the bottom lane. We have to see a little bit of a lane swap soon.
Good read. The diversion. You've got Shadow Kill deep into the enemy territory, though. Blade almost taken out. Rapidude still in the vicinity, getting pushed back. Jet! I think he will be safe. Here comes Vendetta, though. He's taking a lot of damage as well. Forced to get that retreat. Absolute Zero still up on top with 2,000 gold lead. Is 1 kill ahead. And Chu is in a very precarious position. No more T1s. He has to be able to extend that lane to pick up all the resources that's left behind for him.
So it does seem like for the side of Ignite, they're not too subscribed to the idea of putting carry all the way up to the top lane.
Missed the implosion. Will get that kill in the end. Icon goes down. By the hands of Absolute Zero. Good read on the diversion play. I love how Bougie's playing this. So much dimension, so much momentum that's gained. Salus taking a little bit too much damage from Yuta. That's why the Paquito was picked up. Thankfully, Rapidude was there just to pick up the scraps and just body block it over the way. Tsunami Slam on the bottom side as well. Vendetta will be able to go down by the hands of Chu. As Absolute Zero trying to ramp up the aggression, trying to ramp up the momentum and shifting into high gear. However, Ignite Gaming, very defensive gameplay.
I find this very interesting as Ignite Gaming is going against the grain. Normally when it comes down to the gold lane, you lose your T1 turret, you immediately go for a swap up to the top lane to get yourself a little bit more safety and a little bit more farm because you know you're closer to the river line, right? But this time what they have decided is that because of the presence of Luo Yi, they can't afford to do that anymore because it happened twice already where the Luo Yi just diversion down to the bottom lane right behind the brushes where Chu have got absolutely no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Because the way that Ignite Gaming has been going up so far is that the Kalia is just not babysitting Chu at all.
Yeah.
Kalia is just all around the map trying to make full use of the very early game power spike that they have from the Paquito as well as the Guinevere. So they're sticking to that game plan while in the meantime kind of, for the lack of better words, throwing the carry into the gutter and making sure that, okay, carry, you just slowly farm. We'll try to gain our own lead in order to push the enemies away.
Well, 2 points I want to bring up. The first is that I think the idea is to shift the momentum and the aggression away from the carry so that the carry is able to just farm up slowly but surely and scale into the late game because
Hmm.
carry is definitely a late game hero.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see the damage coming through, especially on a lot of the tanky boys from the side of Absolute Zero in the later stages of game. The second point is that there's a lot of different gameplays of how Loi is being utilized. Yesterday, we've seen Sayla use the Loi. The way that Sayla uses it is very patient. He just stays in the
Okay.
mid brush. He just opens up that map powerful. And Ken was on opposite sides of the map, just opening up the brushes, trying to give a little bit more information. And just with the ultimate ready, it kind of intimidates the rest of the members of the opposing team. But
Right.
Buji is very trigger happy. Whenever diversion's up, let's go for a kill. Diversion's up, let's go for a kill. It's all pickoffs, pickoffs, pickoffs. It doesn't matter if the implosion loses out, as long as we secure that kill, because it's always three members rotating together alongside the Loyi's damage, alongside the Tigro's stun, alongside
Mm.
Vendetta's crowd controls as well. We're sleeping at the 5 minute mark. The next turtle is going to be chaotic.
I do agree with how both teams have decided to play, especially when it comes down to Ignite Gaming's answer to this this annoying Loi plays, right? So at least for now, we are definitely going to be expecting that Chu will be in the battles for the early stages, but
Ooh.
this might not work out well.
Nice little airborne shadow kill onto Blade. Zan will pick that up with a killing spree. Turtle fortunately gets a reset. Ignite Gaming will have that retreat. Unable to contest for this turtle. On the top side though, Yuta really farming, doesn't see that diversion play, will get stunned up, locked up, the combo will not come through. That's the problem with it. It's so easy to read. Once you utilize all your skills, you don't have that escape.
So I think that this boils down to respecting the Loi, right? You definitely do want to make some cross-map plays, but in the meantime, you also gotta have to have some internal timer as to when does Buji actually have got the diversion. Because at this point in time, I think that they all have learned their mistakes. They know that, okay, trigger happy Buji. Whenever the timer is up, stay back. This is all about timing, and this is kind of like going back to the basics about the laning phase. You know when the jungler is done with all of their creeps, and when are they going to be appearing into the side lanes. This is going to be the same kind of situation for
Oh,
Buji.
nice little flicker, fist crack into the wall. Chu fortunately gets that escape, but Jet is not as fortunate on the back line. The shadow kill will take Chu out of the way. That's a stop onto the advances from Ignite Gaming. Absolute Zero. All 5 members are collapsing onto all of their members. Salas tries to get the kill with the Sky Piercer. He will. Blade barely escapes with his life, and Absolute Zero are riding that momentum, riding that wave, and surfing high into this win.
High cooldown onto the magical thump. So when you are unable to do that, and you also don't have wings by wings, that both of these Guinevere as well as the Fasa, they're just land creatures. They don't have a choice, but they have to work together. And in this case, because Icon playing as Guinevere is slightly tankier than Blade, he's pretty much just absorbing all of the hits to make sure that Blade don't get hit. So the best case scenario, both of them stays alive while they're just kind of splitting up their HP to make sure that both of them just kind of like slip off health, getting away just by a scrape. But unfortunately, because of the fact that Icon went down, it became a worse trade-off as opposed to Blade actually just dying.
So, talking about setup potentials, there's a Tsunami Slam onto Nam though. Will not be able to escape this one, but the rest of Absolute Zero are not going to take this lightly. They're going for the kills. There's a pushback onto Icon. Sailors with a double. The diversion play onto the back line. Chu does not see this, and Vendetta still does not have his flicker though. But Yuta will be the next one. He will need to survive that clash onto 3, get the pushback, the left jab, and the uppercut will keep it alive just for now. Without Nod, I don't think Absolute Zero is able to go for this forward, but Ignite Gaming will not be able either. Let's take a look at replay, see what really went down. A lot of split fights, but they took out Non.
Okay, so the main thing for the side of Ignite Gaming is they wanted to eliminate the jungler first. So whenever possible, they just went straight for it, right? They threw a lot of their resources. They don't have got their feathered airstrike anymore. Yuta took some time before eventually making his way to dealing all the damage over to Absolute Zero. In the best case scenario, they could have potentially bring a lot of more people from Absolute Zero down if Yuta actually appeared a little bit sooner. So he do have a little bit of trigger discipline. He's looking for like the perfect opportunity, but unfortunately this time the perfect opportunity was actually the first time.
A lot of cross-map plays in this game. Look at the purple buff though. Almost taking out Jet. That's the shadow kill deep into enemy backlines. That's the Rhapsody. Able to find its mark, able to find the target. Sailus is 6-0-3. The Sky Piercer stacks are going wild.
And of course, Celis with a total of 60-0-3. He does have a lot of kills to his name, and of course, a very grand economy on top of all of that. But
Oh, Yuda able to find that flag on the back line. Sailus will pick another one up, 7-0-3 for the stronger. An absolute zero going absolutely insane.
Okay, so trigger discipline from Yuda now is gone. He's just decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever that I can. I'm just gonna burn down the backlines because I find the opportunity to do that.
Nice catch into the implosion. They go. His three members catch and caught up. Nowhere they can run, nowhere they can hide in the battle of fire. Nice. Ignite Gaming will not win the BO1 against Absolute Zero.
So at least for Ignite Gaming, they just went in and realized, okay, we're toast. We're dead meat. GG. We'll move on to the next. Because
True to their name. True to their name.
so this, I'm not sure whether that's like a good thing or a bad thing per se, because Ignite Gaming, they definitely know their power spike and they know that, okay, that final fight where we snagged up Nan was our only saving grace. If we can't win in that fight, the opponent takes a lot, they march down the middle lane, there's no point in us fighting out for this. Because Chu is severely underfarmed. It takes way too much time for them to be able to hold out for Chu in order for them to eventually be able to do remotely anything. So
Yeah.
I guess at that point in time, they just be like, you know what, let's just throw whatever and see what sticks.
To be honest though, I feel like Ignite was toying with death a little bit with the Paquito pick, and I feel like it had a value for.
I didn't think that it paid any dividends.
It
Actually.
didn't pay any dividends. Yeah, I understand where the concept is,
Mhm.
but concept is just concept. The execution was just not there. I think the Tigro pick at the end. I mean, they picked up Paquito as a prior pick in the first phase of the draft, right?
Yeah.
And
It would have been great
Tigro,
as a pocket.
yeah, Tigro pushed him away all the way, and I think Sailus was taking a lot of hits from Yuda. Yuda was always trying to find an angle into the back line, try to take out that Granger first, but thankfully, though, Sailus was just fine all the way through. The damage that he got at the end of the game was just immense, thanks to the Sky Piercer stacks, thanks to the amount of kills that he has. It's just constantly scaling up as well. So he's constantly spamming skills. And Rapidud, man. Rapidud, man. I tell you, this guy is just crazy with the implosions.
And indeed, I gotta have to say that they should have doubled down onto the Paquito in the jungle. If they are gonna prio pick on the Paquito, this is the weakness about throwing a Paquito over to the EXP, is that you don't get the exponential farm that you're supposed to get, as opposed to what a jungler is able to, right?
Yeah.
If you want to have the capability of bursting someone down, then it's gotta be high prio. It's gotta be high position. The jungle is going to be the one that really fulfills for the Paquito. Well, in the meantime, Icon as the Guinevere plays a little bit more of the tanky role. It fits a lot more as the EXP on the end, because you just need the experience, you just need the Valor Requiem, you do have the utility on the end already. So this is one of the situations where I believe that Guinevere in the EXP would have been way better, and Paquito in the jungle would have been way better. Yes, we have seen a lot more meta onto the Guinevere in the jungle, and it makes more sense in that way. But with these two fighters together in a team, it only makes sense to switch it up.
Yeah. To be fair though, I kind of disagree with the fact that Paquito in the jungle doesn't serve as much as Guinevere in the jungle. Guinevere doesn't really need a secondary battle
farm.
spell.
Yep.
And she doesn't really need a lot of farm. The fact of the matter is, Icon actually went tank Guinevere.
Yep.
So you don't really have a lot of damage to go
Yes.
through. I've seen a lot of Guineveres actually play in the jungle, and you go pure damage. And that actually snowballs you through into the late game much faster. The fact of the matter is, for Paquito, if you throw him in the jungle, you're losing on a critical battle spell, which is Flicker. You
Right.
need that Flicker for ambush engages. You wait in the barrage. When people come close, you unleash your full barrage of combos. If they run away or get away, that's the Flicker coming through, and then you can chase up with them. I think that kind of works with Yuta. The issue is that Icon does not have that damage to follow through the early game momentum that they're trying to build.
I do really want to acknowledge the utility side of Guinevere, right? We definitely seen Hades working and rocking that time and time again, but it really requires the side lanes to realistically be able to do anything. But in this case, Yuda as a Paquito absolutely just loses over to a Badang in the EXP. There realistically is not a lot of things that you can possibly do together with the Guinevere when this Paquito is just locked behind uh, the Badang.
You know, drafts aside, I
Uh-huh.
feel like the execution from Absolute Zero was just absolutely
Flawless.
flawless. The fact of the matter is, like for Luo Yi or Buji, using the diversion play every single time that green dot pops up on the screen and the cooldown diminishes, it just creates so much pressure for Ignite Gaming. They just can't match the tempo that Absolute Zero is bringing to the table. The diversion's up, use the diversion, either go for a pickoff or send Salas off to the long lane to get more farm. And I think that worked perfectly well for Absolute Zero. As can be
Hmm.
seen from the scoreline, it can be seen from the turret takes. Once you leave a turret open, that's where much faster.
No one likes the jam.
No one likes the jam.
No one likes the jam.
And speaking of jam, we got the peanut butter and jelly right here. Salas as the Granger for the MVP, 11-0-3. Just if the Skypiercer had like unlimited stacks, it's gonna be like
Unlimited.
unlimited. It's gonna be unlimited, but he's constantly building that up. 78% kill participation all over the map, thanks to the diversion plays. Always targeting onto the objectives, always taking down the turrets, and I think he rightfully deserves it.
Yeah, 11 kills, 3 assists, and that totals up to be the 78%. Pretty much crazy. And of course, let's not forget that this is only like what a 10/11 minutes game. He's really got max items.
Hmm.
Let's not forget about that, okay? So, of course, this AZ, they started off great and strong in week number 1, and it doesn't seem like they are stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
They wiped Ignite Gaming, or they wiped them on the floor, and at this point in time, we just gotta have to look out for what AZ potentially will have for the upcoming few games.
Yeah.